This is July 5th, 2020. Had quite a fireworks going on last night. Lasted a long time. But I'm going to start this video this morning. That column you see in the distance where the rock and the tree, the palm tree, I'm going to take that rock back today. I'm going to scrape it back. I'm going to pull up that plastic. I'm going to turn on the water irrigation system and look for leaks. There was a lot of condensation under the plastic yesterday morning when I lifted it up. So I'm going to get it all pulled back, and I'm going to leave the water on for a while. I'll give the plants a deep soaking, and we'll see if any water surfaces underneath that plastic. And I have to re-sculpt the drainage there. What I'm going to do is, where the sidewalk is, I'm going to extend that out to the property line on a real gentle slope, right to the middle. The property line for these two houses runs about a third of the way. If you take that box, that big box out there, and you were to cut it in half, that's almost the property line. It's a little property line is probably a third of the way to the right from the end of that box, and you can see the trough here. That's more or less follows the property line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a more gentle slope to that line, and I'm going to rework this so everything falls into a riverbed here that gradually drops evenly all the way to the street to where you see that telephone utility box. It's been pooling here for years. It used to pool up against the foundation until 6 years ago. 6 years ago is when I did all the work sculpting. I had a level out here, and I made sure that there was positive flow from this house to the middle. Now I'm going to leave the camera on. I'll zoom in, but you're going to see what I'm probably going to be doing for the next hour and a half. Okay, is getting that rock off there. It's filled with sand, it's filled with pebbles, it's a bad mix. I'm going to separate it, classify it. I'm going to pull everything back and inspect the area, turn on the water again, like I said, for a long time, make sure I have no leaks under there, and then it's all going to get covered up. This is going to take weeks. Alright, I'm a 71-year-old man, and I'm doing this all by myself with no power tools, just the shovel and wheelbarrows. Okay, I'm not Superman, and I'm not going to pay somebody else to do it because they're not going to do it as good as me. One thing I understand very well is geometry, and I have a geometry problem here. I got to get the water from there to there and keep it flowing all the way down there without it pooling right there. Okay, that'll be my geometry problem for the next 2 or 3 months, and then I got to do the backyard. Okay, but I'm going to leave the camera on. You'll see what I have to do to set up the job, take down the job, all the moves I have to make, all the shoveling I have to do, the dust mask I have to wear, and I have to get out here by 6 every morning, so that because I can't anything past 8 o'clock. Past 8 o'clock today, you're not going to be able to work out here. You'll be working a sweat. I'll probably work a sweat right now, but ta-da! pretty much seen the routine. I got about 2 hours of work ahead of me trying to clear that rock to the end of this sidewalk. Where the sidewalk ends, I want to have that all cleared. I got to pull up plastic. I got to look for water leaks. I think I found a leak because as I started peeling back, there was a really bad wet spot. About 4 feet back and 2 feet that way. And I probably have a water leak. So I have to pull it back to get the water leak. But that routine of me raking and shoveling and sifting, I've been doing, I got thousands of hours doing that, and tons and tons and tons of rock and soil have gone through that sifter. If we weighed every batch that went through that sifter, before you put it in the thing, you put it on a scale and then ran a running total, I've probably listed about 5 tons of rock in the last few years. Okay, it keeps me in shape. It's a challenge. I love a challenge, and I have the opportunity to send this video to all the lawyers. I can put it on YouTube as a public video, along with all my other videos of why I had to do this work in the first place. Okay, but I'm going to turn it off now, take a little break. When I come back, I'll turn it back on. But I'm going to record everything I do this morning. I'll probably speed it up. The places where there's no dialogue, I'll speed it up like to 5 times or 10 times so you don't have to watch all the moves. But you'll see, it's a long process. And it's one shovel at a time. One shovel at a time. One wheelbarrow load at a time. One of those little black carts at a time. And to tell you how committed and dedicated I am to doing this job, I just ordered 4 brand new tires for that little black cart. That little black cart, I think, was about $79 at Lowe's. I bought it about 6 years ago. It's been the best investment I've ever made. I've got more utility out of that cart. But the tires are all going bad. They're blowing out. I've had to put in 2 new tubes in them, and I'm keeping it going. But the other day, to buy tires and tubes was the price of the cart 6 years ago, just to replace the tires and tube. But I have so much work ahead of me. When this is all done, going to the street, I have to turn around, do a 180, and go to the backyard that faces the golf course, and I have the same exact challenges there. I got to get up old rock that is mixed with sand and pebbles. Another place where I just threw the rock last year to get it off the street. When I ran out of space here to put it down, I took it out in the backyard. All that rock should come up again. And I want to get my water levels out, and I want to regrade everything. I want to map it out. First of all, do a topographical survey of what I have, the boundary lines, like the lot line between the golf course and my lot has an elevation on both sides of it. On the west side and the east side, there's an elevation for that point. It's a 3-dimensional map. I'm going to find out if I'm above or below that elevation that I should have. I know that the house is 3 inches low, and when you look at the map and then you look at the property line with your eye, you can see that they've decided not to follow the map as far as the elevations of the property line. But I'm going to turn it off now, go in, take a little break, get some water in me, come back. I probably won't have that finished today. I'm not Superman, but it's Sunday morning, the 5th of July.